Hello to all you fine people that have decided to click on my video. Welcome to Tyler Today News. Today we're going to be reacting to Cece Telfer speaking about her devastation regarding the recent executive orders that Donald Trump has put out, banning trans women and trans people from the sports that they identify as, forcing them to play in the games that they are biologically assigned to. Well, not, I shouldn't say assigned. I don't like using that word. No one is assigned to anything. You are identified as such. I don't really care about how you yourself identify. I don't care about self-identification. There's a lot of things that I self-identify as, like a successful YouTuber, but I am not. So no matter how much I want to identify as that, I just am not. But we're going to go ahead and react to this video today. Before we do that, please, most importantly, subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. If there's other videos or interviews that you want me to react to or stories that you would like me to cover, please hit me up on X or in the comment section down below. But if you like this video, you know, hit that like button, hit the thumbs up button, or, you know, whatever we got on the social medias you're looking at this on. But thank you so much for tuning into the video, and I really do appreciate it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this interview.
They would never understand what it's like to be born in a body that you don't identify with, that the decision is not yours. This is not a decision that you make, you know? It's something that is innate. You can't go against it.
That was Cece Telfer speaking before World Athletics' decision to ban the participation of trans athletes like her in athletics.
I'm not doing this for accolades. I'm not doing this to win all the time. I'm doing this because it's important, and I didn't get to see somebody like me on like the athletic stage. It's important for kids like me to see that like their dreams can come true too.
The council has agreed to exclude.
So I do feel for this person. I have no idea what it's like to not feel to feel like I'm in the wrong body, but I don't know what you mean by you feel like you're in the wrong body. There's no other body that you could be in. The body that you're born in is the body that you're meant to be in. And I feel really bad for these people that feel like they are trapped in the wrong body, or however they decide to describe it. But when you transition, how do you know you're now in the right body? How do you all of a sudden feel like you're in the right body just because of the way you're now self-identifying? Is it because of the way you're dressing? Is it because of the way you're acting? Is it because of the way you're doing your hair? Like, what about it is making you feel better? What about it is making you feel like you're in the right body? Because a man cannot know what it feels like to be in a woman's body, and a woman cannot know what it feels like to be in a man's body. So how do you know? That would be my question to this person. But I do feel bad for these people. I will hopefully never know what it's like to be in the wrong body, or feel like I am anyway. But let's go ahead and get into this.
Male to female transgender athletes who have been through male puberty from female world ranking competitions from March the 31st this year.
March 31st, 2023, the last day that transgender women who've gone through what World Athletics refer to as male puberty are allowed to compete in international athletics events. A day that also marks International Transgender Day of Visibility. World Athletics say their decision was made on the basis of a 2-month consultation process, prioritizing what they call fairness and the integrity of the female competition before inclusion. It's a decision that...
Yes, it should go before inclusion, 100%. If you look at studies and statistics on this, males on average are going to be stronger, faster, you know, their reflexes are going to be quicker. Basically, every metric that we use to measure someone's ability to do something regarding sports, males are going to be better at it. I think the only thing that women are better at is distance running. Like, after a long enough period of running, women will beat out a guy. But everything else, literally everything else, it's going to be men on top. And it's not me being like, ooh, you know, men number one, whatever. That's just a reality. That's how our species evolved. Men have always been the stronger, dominant ones, and women are the ones that are the, you know, gatherers. They take care of things at home. They take care of the children. Like there's certain specific roles that men and women have had throughout history. That's just a fact of our reality, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's absolutely beautiful the way that men and women are supposed to work, and I don't think you can I don't think men and women are interchangeable. I don't think a woman can take a man's place. I don't think a man can take a woman's place. It's just not realistic. But anyways, let's continue on with the video. But point being, inclusivity is not always a good thing. You shouldn't include people just to include people. People should be excluded from some things. That's just a reality. Like, I don't think women should be in men's sports. I don't think men should be in women's sports. But, you know.
For now, likely signals the end of Telfer's Olympic dream.
My overall feeling is definitely devastation is the one thing that I can really use to define the emotion and feelings right now.
So off the bat, and I don't mean to insult this person. I mean, that was a bad place to pause it. Let me pause it somewhere else. Okay, there. Not to insult this person, but they have very masculine features. The way they are speaking sounds like a man trying to put on a woman's voice. And, you know, I've talked about this in previous videos. Some trans people do pass, like 100%. I wouldn't be able to tell. But there are others that cannot pass. This individual clearly doesn't pass. He has a very sharp jawline. Women do not have that kind of jawline. In fact, you know, my video is a little blurred out here, but I think you can make out what appears to be an Adam's apple as well. So there's just certain features you can look at just right away. The broad shoulders, just certain things you look at right away, and they're telltale signs that that's not a woman. And let's say he looked exactly like a woman, perfect to the T, is a woman, you know, or look like one anyway. That doesn't change the fact that biologically he's going to have denser bones, faster reflexes, more stamina, more strength, all kinds of things that aren't even because of male puberty, as some have called it, but it's also just a simple fact of human biology. Males on average are stronger, they have more stamina, their bone density is more, like all kinds of things. It's not just puberty that causes these things. It's just a fact of reality. And this person should be competing against men. Could be either other trans people or men. This person should be competing against. It shouldn't be women.
Go-to was that my life is over. Everything that I've worked blood, sweat, and tears for has just gone down the drain just like that.
I can sense how...
No, it hasn't. You can still go and compete against men, which you are one. Your life is not over. What is over is you competing and whooping women's asses in a sport that you shouldn't be in. Now, look, if I ever raced this person, I'm sure I would get absolutely smoked. I have too many health issues to compete at a high level. But we're talking about a man competing against a woman. That just shouldn't be happening unless, you know, it's like sanctioned beforehand. But women should have a space that they go to where, okay, I'm going to compete against actual women, and it's only going to be actual women. If they want to make a new division where it's like trans inclusive or whatever, where men can compete against women, I'm all for it. I don't care. But women should still have that division where they can go and compete against other women, real women.
Emotional you are about it.
Absolutely. Because we never thought that like world athletics would go in this direction, right? We never thought that a leading international federation would just choose to like exclude and demonize a group of athletes and then make it seem...
They're excluding men. They're excluding males, from women's sports, female sports. We shouldn't even be calling it women's sports because that terminology has been hijacked by the people that believe in the gender ideology stuff. You want to call it women's sports and you want to be called a woman, you know, whatever. That's gendered language. I don't care. Let's talk about what you actually are. Let's talk about biology, which is male and female. Are you a female? No, you're a male that identifies as a woman. Okay, so you don't get to play in the female sports. Should be as simple as that.
As though that it's fair and just when it's not. It's blatant discrimination.
Coming to the apex of the turn, Cece
Looks very
Telfer.
masculine
It's a
in that
far
picture.
cry from the high of 2019 and the promise of what was to come when Telfer became the first out transgender woman to win an NCAA title in the 400.
So this individual's raced before and has taken the first place trophy of actual women. That's not right. You should be competing against men. If you're able to compete at such a high level like that, why can't you compete against men? Why is it that your career has to be over? Oh, I can't whoop women's asses anymore in a sport that I easily beat them in, which I've never seen their races or anything. I don't know if it was easily or, you know, how far of a distance this individual was from the next place behind him. But regardless of that, a man should not be competing against a woman. You cannot change, and I'll mention this in the video for people that haven't seen my other videos. A boy cannot become a girl cannot become a boy. If you think you can convince me, my X handle is down in the comments below or the description below. You are more than welcome to try and convince me. I have an open mind to this. I'm a very open-minded person, even though a lot of you that believe in this gender ideology stuff might not think I do, but I very much do. If you can prove me wrong, I am more than happy to admit that I am wrong, and I strive to be right. I want to be correct. I want to be right. So if I am wrong, prove me wrong. I don't want to be wrong. But as far as I'm aware, as far as everything that I've seen, a man cannot become a woman.
Meters hurdles at the Division 2 level.
This one is going to be Telfer.
I can't believe I went from that to where I am today because I felt as though that going from that, I should have been on like this high training regimen going into the Tokyo Olympics and to this next Olympics that's coming. It just feels like I'm going downhill, like constantly going downhill.
World Athletics issued eligibility regulations for transgender athletes in October 2019. Even before the most recent ruling, protests over transgender participation and a rise in state legislation barring transgender athletes from competition in the United States had given Telfer reason to be fearful.
Do you have any concerns about speaking out?
Absolutely. My everyday life, walking outside of my apartment is a concern because, you know, my safety is at the utmost priority because I don't have a coach, I don't have a team, I don't have any of that. I don't have anybody coming to these track meets with me. So going alone, I'm worried about, like, you know, people jeopardizing me in the sense that, like, you know, like messing up my spikes or stealing my spikes or, you know, like physically harming me at track meets.
Okay, why is it you specifically have this concern? Why is it that only you have this concern? I don't have this concern when I have to DoorDash for a living at night. Like, I don't have this concern when I go grocery shopping. Like, oh no, I'm gonna come out to my car and my car's gonna be stolen, which has happened before. My car has literally been stolen before in front of my own house. So it's like, oh, you're the only one that has to worry about getting beat up. You're the only one that has to worry about people tampering with your belongings. That's such ridiculous. That's such a ridiculous concept that, oh, I'm trans, so I'm more likely to have these things happen to me. No, it depends on the area you live in. It depends on the people of that area. It depends on the crime rates and the police response time. There's so many different factors that go into that besides you being trans. I guarantee you that, you know, 90% of the people that steal your stuff or mess with your stuff probably don't even know you're trans. They don't care. Some people just don't care. They do things for themselves, or they have something, you know, up in the head where they go and do these things. It is most likely, more than likely, it has nothing to do with you being trans. Everyone should have a worry when they're out in public and, you know, there's people around them that they don't know, or they're sketchy people or something like that. You should always be aware of your surroundings. You should always be aware that there are bad people in the world. It is not specific to you being trans. When I go out in public with someone, especially when I'm with family, I am always scanning my surroundings to make sure that my family or my friends are safe. Everyone should do that. You should always be aware of your surroundings. You should always be aware that there are people in the world that are up to no good. It's not because you're trans. Everyone has that issue.
Telfer says she's approached more than 500 coaches, but none have taken up the opportunity to train her.
There were coaches that were interested, but after researching me and seeing the controversy that is revolved around an athlete like me, a lot of coaches feel like as though that their reputation is going to be jeopardized or their career is on the line.
I don't mean to pause it again so soon, but good. I'm sure you're approaching coaches that are trying to, train with women, and then they further research. They're like, oh, this person's politically active. They are transgender. They're a male pretending to be a woman. Like, yeah, that should jeopardize their whatever you want to call it, their career, because they shouldn't be getting involved with someone who shouldn't be in the sport in the first place. So I don't blame them one bit. No one should pick you up unless you're going to train against other transgender people or train against men. Like, you should not be involved in women's sports. It's as simple as that.
So they're not apt to, take that responsibility onto them and giving me that chance of coaching me and seeing me.
You say you've reached out to 500 coaches. How close have you come to
oh my gosh,
one of them coaching you?
I was in LA training at UCLA, meeting an Olympic coach, him taking me under his belt, but his athletes, him not knowing who I was or seeing my transness, he just saw me as a female athlete, strong female athlete, but his athletes knowing
you are not a female. As simple as that. I refuse to even acknowledge that you are. You want to acknowledge that you're a woman? That's one thing. That's a gendered term now. I don't even agree with that either. But if you want to say you're a male that identifies as a woman, sure, you're a male that identifies as a woman. I don't have to acknowledge that. But something that I will completely go against is you claiming to be a female. They say that it's transgender, but when you start saying that you identify as a female, that means you're a transsexual, which is a word that they don't like to use anymore. But sex is something that is an immutable characteristic. That's like saying you can change your skin color. You cannot change your sex any more than you can change your skin color. Absolutely ridiculous. This person is mentally ill and shouldn't even be televised right now. This person needs medical help. This person needs mental help. They are not a female. They've never been a female. They will never be a female.
Who I am, not liking who I am, or the controversy revolving around me, and they felt as though that they don't feel safe or comfortable training with me, so he had to drop me as an athlete.
How did that feel? What impact did that have on you?
They probably didn't want to have a man in the locker room with them. They didn't want to have a male in the locker room with them, more than likely. Or they didn't want to be training with a male. You are a male, a human male.
Amazing getting that Olympic coach, that Olympic training, literally going home and not doing anything but sleeping, showering, and eating, showering, and going to sleep was just because you had nothing else left in you. And it was just like everything I yearned for. So when all of that was gone, I felt like I felt devastated. I felt hurt, and it hurt even more coming from the athletic community, coming from other female athletes. You know what I mean? Other female athletes who surpass my time, who's faster than me.
Again, he says other female athletes as if he is a female, which, like he says here, there are women that have beat his times, which, great, good for you. I'm sure there are women that can beat you, but that doesn't change the fact that you're a male taking the space of a female in a female sport. You should be training against other transgenders or other males. You are not a female.
Who was actually a part of Team USA, who's threatened by me.
Threatened by you because you have a dick?
It blew my mind, because I'm like, you are seen as better than me. You are already established. You have everything. Why am I such a threat to you?
Because you have a male appendage?
In 2021, Telfer competed
Look how much
in
bigger
and
he
won
is than
money.
all the women. What the? Hang on, go back. Look at this. Look how much bigger he is.
Why am I such a threat to you?
He's huge.
In 2021,
dude, he's like twice the size of some of those
competed in
chicks.
And won money taking part in US track and field sanctioned races.
He's ahead of the pack too.
As a result, she says she had qualified to take part in the
What
Olympic
the hell?
trials for Tokyo. But the day before
I
those
didn't
trials
expect it to be
began,
that stark of
in
a
emails seen by
difference.
CNN, she was told she'd not met eligibility requirements. Ahead of the 2022 national championships, she says she was told she'd submitted her blood tests in the wrong format, leaving her ineligible to compete. Telfer has been the only out transgender woman trying to navigate the system through USA track and field onto the international stage. A system with rules, but a relatively untested process with numerous administrative and medical requirements.
The things that I have to go through every single month, the aggressive hormone replacement therapy and aggressive medical treatments, every month I have to make sure the doctors are doing their jobs, because if not, then that's gonna come back on me and I'm not gonna be able to compete. The fact that I have to hold my medical personnel's hand and like hold them accountable and make sure that they're doing their job correctly is just crazy.
Transgender
Okay,
athletes
I
have
would
been
like him
allowed
to elaborate upon that. But even then, like all these hormone replacement treatments and stuff like that, that is incredibly detrimental to your body. That destroys your bone density. It makes it easier for your bones to break and fracture. And even besides that, you replacing your hormones doesn't change your biology. It'll change your, I guess it will change your biology in some ways. Like for women that get testosterone, they'll grow facial hair and stuff like that, and they'll have more testosterone in their bodies, but that does not physically change anything. I need to be very specific about that, because the transgender people, or not even transgender, it's just gender activists, will like to point out things if I don't specifically say exactly what I mean. What I mean is it's not going to change your chromosomes. It's not going to change what appendage you have between your legs. It's not going to change whether or not you can impregnate a woman. It's not going to change whether or not you can be impregnated, which, don't get me wrong, not all men, not all women can do those things. But the point being is you can't go from being able to get pregnant to now being able to impregnate someone. That's not how it works. That's not how humans work. And vice versa. You can't be going from being able to impregnate someone to now being able to get pregnant. That is not possible. That has never been possible, and it'll likely never be possible. But possible. That'll never be possible. Maybe in the distant future, but even then, like, you might as well just like swap brains with another body at that point. Like, that's incredibly invasive. They would have to gut your entire body to change that. But point being, your hormones at the end of the day don't change who you are. It's not going to change what and who you are. There are men that have a higher level of estrogen. There's women that have a higher level of testosterone just naturally, and that doesn't change them being a male or a female. It doesn't. And there's another point I want to make on this while we're on this topic is just think about the incentive all these doctors have of, you know, getting these treatments for people. They get you hooked on this stuff, or, you know, you can say hooked, but they get you on these treatments, and now they have you as a permanent medical patient for the rest of your life. Excuse me. Permanent medical patient for the rest of your life. If they get you on puberty blockers at the age of, let's say, 14, 15, well, now you're going to be on puberty blockers, and you're going to be on hormone replacement surgery. Maybe you get the bottom surgery, top surgery, all these different treatments and stuff like that. You're going to have continuous frequent checkups. There's just going to be so much. And who's benefiting from that? Are you benefiting from it? Maybe in the short term, but in the long term, the statistics don't bode well for these people. I've seen Michael Knowles say it's like a flip of a coin. And he's correct, because the statistics show that around 50% of transgender individuals, whether you've gone through the surgeries and treatments or not, people that identify as transgender, the suicide rate tends to be around 50 to 60%. Some studies have shown 40%. Even then, that's a flip of a coin. You're flipping a coin for whether or not someone decides to end their life. And these treatments are not helping them. And what do you think is going to happen to these people? Let's say there's a 15-year-old that goes through with all these treatments. They get the puberty blockers, they get the hormone replacement, they get the bottom surgery or top surgery or both. What happens when they decide that it was the wrong thing for them? What do you think is going to happen to their mental health then? Do you think they're going to be better off, or do you think they're going to be in a much worse situation than they ever would have been? And again, who's ultimately benefiting? Who, regardless of what happens, benefits? It's going to be the insurance companies and it's going to be doctors. And it's not right.
Allowed to participate in Olympic Games since 2004. In 19 years, none have made it to the track and field medal podium. As things stand, from an international competition perspective, Telfer's daily fight has been lost. World Athletics say they have no athletic-specific evidence of the impact these athletes would have on the fairness of female competition in athletics. This mirrors a 2017 study in the journal.
There's no evidence of the impact that'll have. There's no evidence of males competing against females. There's no evidence that that's going to impact anything at all. I find that ridiculously hard to believe.
Sports medicine, which found no direct or consistent research that trans people have an athletic advantage over their cisgender peers.
It was a decision.
Okay, cisgender, first of all, is
said-
a slur. That's an absolute slur. Cisgender people don't exist. What you mean by cisgender is just normal, healthy people. It's a slur for non-trans people. Just stop using it. It doesn't mean anything besides normal. That's all cisgender means. It means normal. Normal people. That's what that means. And yes, there is definitely evidence to show that there is an impact by males competing against females. Just by the simple fact that this guy here has won at least one medal that they've shown in this video, won first place medals. And he was trying to compete against people on an Olympic level, which is absolutely, I would say that's cheating. We go against a foreign country and we're like, oh, here's our female, and we put up a male on the podium. That's cheating. I see that as cheating. If another country did that to us, I'd be screaming cheat all day long. That's ridiculous. But no, just like I was talking about, you can look up all kinds of different records. I mean, there was a soccer team, a high school soccer team went up against our national women's soccer team, and the boys soccer team in high school smoked, absolutely destroyed the female soccer team that was supposed to be the highest in the nation. Absolutely hilarious. So you have cases like that where it's like men are just better at sports, which is okay. Give women a place to do sports on their own without males interjecting themselves. So there's definitely evidence to show that there is an impact. It's just ridiculous.
Was taken after 2
But
months
it's CNN, so
of consultation
fake news.
with interested parties. Were you consulted?
I was not consulted,
I don't care.
and I wasn't aware of this consultation and who and the members that are going to be a part of this consultation. And I don't know necessarily if they were advocating for change, for progress, or for women's sports in general. Just world athletics in general being
I'm advocating for women's sports right now. I'm advocating for actual women in sports. I'm advocating for women's sports. I'm all for women having sports. They more than definitely should. They more than definitely should have it without males that pretend to be female.
leading federation to make a decision to completely eliminate and exclude a group of female athletes.
You're not female. You're not a female athlete.
Completely turning history backwards.
No, it's not. We're correcting
that's
things.
the effect that it's having instead of, or versus taking that leadership role and leading by example in sports and society at large. It's just sad that they chose to go that direction of exclusion and to pretty much follow.
They're not excluding. They're
go
just,
against everything.
It's
the
not
Olympic chart.
not even about exclusion. I hate that they even say this. It's not even exclusion. You're not being excluded from anything. Go and compete in sports. You're all for it. We're all for you competing in sports. You seem like a great athlete. Just compete against other trans people or compete against males, of which you are. We're not excluding you from anything. Well, all we're saying is that you can't compete against females. That's not excluding you any more than saying you can't go in the female restroom. That's not exclusion. That's giving someone a space where they can feel safe and they can compete in a fair manner against people on the same level as them. You're not on the same level as females. You are a male. Go compete with the males or go compete with other trans people.
Represents.
It did say that another consultation process is going to take place and a panel will be set up involving a transgender athlete. Is that something you would be open to being part of?
Absolutely.
What would your
Absolutely.
message be?
You cannot exclude a group of female athletes that exist and will continue to exist in sports and pretty much all levels and areas of society. We matter and we continue to matter. Every person has the right to compete and to practice sports without discrimination, age, gender, race, sexual
just a straw man.
orientation. That is what the Olympic Charter is all about. And in order to be a part of the Olympics, you have to follow these things.
What does it do to your Olympic dream? The hopes.
Okay, they're just making this person out to be a victim. Yeah, they're not excluding a specific group of females. They're telling you that as a male, you cannot compete against females. I have to say this a million times through this video, apparently, because this guy just is strawmanning the entire situation, and this person interviewing him is absolutely terrible. What is this British CNN crap? Terrible questions by this person. She's not pushing this guy at all. She's just asking loaded, not even loaded. She's just handing him questions on a silver platter. There's no pushback here at all. No correction saying that you're not a female. It's one thing, again, to call yourself a woman, because that's gender nonsense bullcrap. But you're biologically saying you are a female. You are a biological female. No, you're not. No, you're not. It's that simple. It's that simple, bro. And you're not being excluded. Everyone has every right to compete in sports. Like I said just a few minutes ago, I am more than happy to see you in sports. I would love to see you compete more. But go compete against people on a fair level, against people that actually want to compete against you. Women should have their own spaces, just like men should have their own spaces. And if men and women want to intertwine, we need a new category.
Of representing Team USA?
This decision has completely shattered my dreams
Good.
of being a medalist in the Olympics and
No, it's
being a
not.
part
Go
of
compete
Team
in the male
USA.
category. You can still be an Olympic person. Go compete in the male category.
But it has not.
Play
It's not going to
play
keep me
the sad
back,
music. I'm gonna cry.
and it's not going to cause me to hang up my spikes.
So what will you do?
I'm gonna cry.
I will continue to fight. I will continue to show up and show out. I'll continue
Oh my
to
God, so brave.
compete
So brave.
wherever, however I can, and
Wherever and however, go compete with the males.
stand up for what is right.
What is right is you not competing against females. But oh God, that interview is terrible to sit through. I hope I made it more enjoyable for you, those of you watching still. If you made it this far, again, I'm going to reiterate what I said at the beginning of the video. Like the video if you liked it. Like if you liked my commentary, comment your thoughts down below or tweet at me on X. Let me know your comments. I want to know what you guys think about this video. Absolutely insane. This person's mentally ill is my final thoughts on this. Ultimately, I think I said enough throughout this video. But if there's another video or another topic you would like me to cover, again, let me know at the places I already listed. And I'm trying to hit 500 subscribers by the end of the year. So subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. But yeah, no, that video is absolutely ridiculous. And again, CNN is garbage. Peace out.